clients. We work in this company, and this company is well known for building portals, something like this, mainly on this platform, which I think you know. Many of our clients or customers, they have Liferay servers installed already, and they are using them for serving traditional devices like laptops, desktop PCs, and so on. The thing is that in recent years, mobile devices came in, and they are trending. People are using them more and more, and it's a segment of market which can't be overlooked by the companies. So they don't overlook them. They have Liferay. They are using it as a front end for the core systems and for traditional devices. And they need to address those mobile devices. So basically what they did is they introduced native applications for major platforms like iOS, like Android. The thing what could go wrong in here, in this nice infrastructure, is we have addressed all the major platforms, browsers, iOS, Android. The users can access those systems in the way they want, in the preferred device, but some things could go a little bit wrong in here. First thing is, not all clients will access the features using native applications. Why? Because maybe they are not clients of the company yet, so they will just go to the site, they won't install the application. Or maybe they don't know about the application already, or they just don't want to install it because they don't want to have another application in their device. Or they don't have the platform which is supported, so they can't install it. And this leads to one fact. You have to maintain another site on the Liferay for the mobile devices. You have to optimize it for mobile devices. And this leads to another thing. If you want to do a small change to the application or add some small functionality, you have to do it in 3 places. You have to do it in Liferay, you have to do it in Android, you have to do it in iOS. So you want to go to production, so you will deploy the change to the Liferay. Okay, you will prepare a new version of iOS application, send it to the Apple Store. You will prepare a new version of Android application, send it to Google Play. Users will download it, use it, everything's okay. Another catch. What will happen if new platform will arrive? How much will it cost to develop native applications for a new platform with the same functionalities as the original platforms or as the original native applications on iOS or Android? So what we think is, if you have this infrastructure and the clients are using Liferay as a mobile platform, somehow just use it for all the devices. Use it for mobile devices, use it for classical devices like laptops, like desktop PCs. And of course, question will pop up here, is Liferay enough to satisfy those mobile devices? Liferay out of the box has features like responsive layouts, Workflow, which can detect devices, and you can just send the users to another sites or give them a different theme, different layout, which is okay for simple applications or web content, like serving information to the users. But for complex applications or business applications, you need more functionalities, wider set of them. You need users to get online. This is out of the box in Liferay. It's Liferay how it's built, of course. But also you have to cover situations when the user is offline. So he can't get connected because, I don't know, signal is weak, or some ridiculous thing happens to him and he can't get connected. Something like this. Yeah. And in this situation, you have to store the application in the mobile phone. You have to store their application data and synchronize them with the server when the user goes online again. So you have to cover somehow this functionality. Also, you have to focus on UI, because the users are changing the orientation of the screen. They are zooming in, zooming out, and stuff like that. They are trying to hit the right spot, which is sometimes quite hard. And instead of these situations, you should use native components. So the users are adapted to, they know how to use them, they are effective with them. So yeah, this is the right way. And also gestures, because if you are using mobile applications or mobile devices, you get used to them. I myself use the swipe on my monitor on a netbook sometimes. So obviously it doesn't work, yeah? But it's in the mind and I can't get rid of it. And it's natural way how to use it. So the users will do this in this way. So yeah, you have to address this also. And of course, some nature features like cameras, geolocation. So in several user stories, these are very, very useful. So you have to address them also. And Liferay doesn't have those features out of the box. So what we did basically is that we added HTML5 support. We have added support for CSS3, for native items or native components, and we did some JavaScripting to connect these things together in one place. And also we added, of course, some support for iOS and for Android to address platform-specific problems. Now, the climax of the presentation, the demo. You will see some real stuff in here. So we have a laptop with Liferay installed. We have iPad, which will be used to present it. And those things are connected via ad hoc Wi-Fi. The thing is, we have only one device here. The application works also on mobile phones, tablets, laptops, and other devices. So if you have if you are interested in this, just find us after the presentation. We can show you more. The presentation itself consists of two parts. First part is Liferay WCM plus offline storage application cache of HTML5. The second part is more like you have a portlet application and you want to make it look like native application, act like native application, and so we will show you some HTML5 features like offline application cache, storage, native components and stuff like that. So, Jiří, your turn.
Thank you, Aleš, for a nice introduction to our demo part of the presentation. And now let me show you what we've prepared for you. Before I start with a demonstration, let me talk a bit about this application. This is an application for an insurance broker, and now we are on the home page. As you can see, there are the most important information for the broker. So at the bottom, there is some navigation menu. There are also some direct navigation button to the most important agendas, like My Broker and a list of clients. There is also a really important section. It's now empty, but it will, during the presentation, it will show the clients which have products about to expire. It's really important for an insurance broker because when they have these kind of products, you need to call them and you need to prolong the expiration date of the insurance. But what I want to focus in the first part of the demo is the bottom of the page, because you can see it's a current documents part, and it's a standard web content display portlet from Liferay. And what I want to show you now is how to combine web content management from Liferay together with the application cache from HTML5, and how to actually provide some kind of web content-based application in the browser which actually works offline. I think that this is a good example how to do the next Liferay Symposium application, because at least the agenda, it could be programmed on the top of the Liferay and it could be accessible offline. So let me show you how we done this. As you can see, now we are online. I have switched on my Wi-Fi and actually I can access these documents from the web content when I click on the link on the bottom of the page. But what I want to show you now is, imagine that you have downloaded your web content, for example, the agenda from the Liferay Symposium, and now you know how it's go with the Wi-Fi. Sometimes you've lost your signal. I will demonstrate this more times during the demo, and I will use the airplane mode for it. So now, if I switch on the airplane mode, I turn off the Wi-Fi and I've lost the connection. as you can see again, some pop-up with that I've switched off the Wi-Fi. But what is good now is that our application is actually still working. We can go through the pages, and nothing has changed actually for the insurance broker. The only thing which actually has changed is the icon in the top right corner. It actually tells you that we are working offline, but nothing else has changed. I can also actually access the same PDF again without any problem, because it's stored in the application cache. So that's how we can work offline with the web content. But now show me how to actually update this web content. The answer to this is really simple. Just use the Liferay stuff. Just use a control panel and standard administrator things. But so let me show you how it look in the Liferay, and let me describe it, what we need to add to the Liferay to support this functionality. So now we are in the control panel. I think that most of you are familiar with it, so I'm not going to describe this more, but I'll just click, sorry, the wrong one, this one. Yeah, current documents. I can, for example, change the title, let's say, Liferay European Symposium 2012, and let me add one more document over here. I will call it the best document, and let me say that it will be, for example, this blue one, because you can quite recognize it afterwards. So when I click publish, and if we keep Liferay as it is, it won't work actually. Because what happened now, we publish web content to Liferay, but the mobile device itself, it still has the same cache manifest, and also on the Liferay there is a still same cache manifest which represents all the data which the mobile device needs to work offline. So the most important thing for the application cache to work is the file called cache manifest, and there are all the resources which you need to download for you to be able to work with the web content or with some other application later on offline. So what we've added here to the Liferay is that we add the functionality by hook that when we changes the web content, we also update this cache manifest. And now I'm going to show you how it works on a mobile device when we change the web content and the cache manifest is updated. So I'm going back to the iPad, and yeah, and as you can see, when I access the homepage again, there is no new document because I'm still working offline. But when I return back to the office and actually get myself online again and access the homepage again, you can see on the top right corner that it's actually checking for updates. It's updating, and after a while, it will tell you that there is a new version of the application. And when I accept the new version, you can see that there is also a new document over here. And that's basically how it works with the offline web content. If you combine these things together, I think you can really use them, at least for a Liferay Symposium agenda. But I think we will go through the demo, and I think that we can replace the whole application with something which is built on the top of the Liferay. So that was the first part of the demo, and now let me go to the second part, which will be, I hope, even more interesting, because we are going to talk about local storage, about storing offline data from the forms. So now we are on the screen, which represents some kind of address book for the insurance broker. So he has all his clients in this address book. You can imagine that if insurance broker works, he usually has some kind of database on a Liferay. But if you want to get these clients to your mobile device, what will you do? Just simply click a synchronize button, and it will load all the clients to this native-like application. You can actually very easily search for some people. So I'll just type in my colleague's surname, and as you can see, it immediately finds him. Again, I want to stop here for a while because I want to describe the whole user interface. As you can see, we were keeping the top and the bottom bar through the whole application. We were trying to get a similar user experience as a native application. We also focused on the control fields to be big enough to control. For example, this list item, Aleš, it's big enough for me to click it on it even with a thumb. So we were really focusing on this. And now let me show you some native input forms. So I'm going to edit Aleš's, let's say, profile. Now we are looking at the first form of our application, and what I'm going to describe now is our focus or our approach to these forms and to these native input fields. So first of all, select box. As you can see, it's not a standard one. It's the whole button. You can actually easily access it, change it. It's very simple. But let me go more further. For example, about the date. When you click about the date and use appropriate HTML5 input types, you can get this really nice native date input. But we were also focusing on the platforms which actually don't provide this, because you can get the same user experience on Android, but on the Google Chrome in Android, but some older, let's say older devices, they don't have this. But we also providing some fallback in the JavaScript, so you can actually get a similar to the native input field in here. I think this is good. Another thing, number inputs or numeric inputs. It's really important if you have a long form with a lot of fields inside to provide the best user experience. And what we have here, as you can see, we've changed the layout of a keyboard immediately when you actually access the number field, again, full number. And the good thing is that sometimes you need to fill in a number with spaces. And if I'm going to try this, for example, in the standard input type, I need to change the layout to the numbers, write a number. When I hit a space, it changes back, and I need to change it again. And it's a really painful way how to enter the numbers. So it's definitely necessary to focus on this. OK, let me go more further. Now I'm going to show you how to actually navigate through the form. We were, as I said, we were keeping the top and the bottom bar through the whole application. So actually, no one will be probably surprised when I click continue. It will go to the next page. But as Aleš said, sometimes he is swiping over his computer screen, and we were trying to provide the same functionality over here. So if I just now swipe through the screen, it actually goes to the next step. And for me, it's really natural way how to actually work with this application. And another advantage of this approach is that we can actually get rid of the bottom bar, and we can save some space on the little screens of mobile phones, because we can use gestures instead of these two buttons at the bottom. OK, that was about the first form. Now let me go even more further. Imagine that Aleš is going to the vacation during this weekend, and I want to make a travel insurance for him. So I go to his place, but he invited me to his cottage because we want to celebrate this after that. So I just went to his place. I'm just going to find him. It will be easier. So let me type his name again. And I'm going to go to his product list. And now I want to make a new travel insurance for him. Again, as you can see, pop-up menu with big enough icons to hit them with your fingers. So I'm going to try the new travel insurance. And we started to discuss about the travel insurance, and I realized that we are at the cottage and there is no signal. How will I finish the form? For example, in the middle, we were decided, OK, it will be this date, so from 20 to 22. But now I realize that I've lost my connection. So imagine what will happen in the standard HTML application. When I click continue, you will probably see 404 error or page not found or something like that. But in our application, actually, oh shit, sorry. Yeah, I'm back. I'm not used to.
Is it recorded?
I'm not used to control these devices. Yeah. Come on. So in our application, actually, when you click continue, you can actually work and you can finish the form. What I'm going to show now, I can actually choose some stuff over here, and when I go to the last page, some summarization, and when I click finish, I can actually see that there is a new travel insurance. It's highlighted with a white color because it's actually stored only in our local database on a device. And now I'm going to show you that I can actually, after I get connection back, I can actually put all the data which I've changed during the offline mode to the computer. So let's go back to the main page with the clients. And if I click now synchronize, it will tell me that it's impossible because I'm offline. I've also detected, so I can't do that. But when let's say that I've just finished the whole contract with Aleš, and I'm going back to the office, and now I got my Wi-Fi signal again. So, come on. And if I exit the page now, you can see that, yeah, there are no updates. There is online sign, so I'm online. I can actually synchronize it, and that's basically it. You can see that now if I search for Aleš again. Yeah, he's green, and also the lastest product created today, it's also green, so it means that it's synchronized. And now let me show you that it will be on the PC too. So let's switch back to the PC. And let's go to the list of the clients. I apologize, we haven't focused on actually desktop version of this application, so we are using the same theme, but it's actually possible to have a special theme for this application. So let me find Aleš. Oh, it's a bit oversized, but hopefully you will see it. So let me find Aleš, and as you can see, he is green, but there is not the lastest insurance. Why? Why I don't have it over here? What do you think? I don't have it here because we were working offline. Even on this machine, we were focusing on a data transfer between the mobile device and the Liferay. And what is happening now? I'm still working with my offline copy, and if I want to access, or if I want to just start the data traffic, I need to click synchronize. So if I click synchronize and go to Aleš again, there should be a new product. Yeah, over here, you can see that it was created a minute ago over here. So that was the last travel insurance contract which we've actually made with Aleš. So let me sum it up this demo a bit. What we've showed here is that it's actually possible to work with the HTML5 application offline. You can provide a offline functionality. You can prevent the user from the data loss. You can work after you lost your connection in the middle of the form. And you can imagine that if you are filling the form with 100 fields with a client, and if it fails in the middle of the form, he will definitely not go through this form again. But with this application, you can actually survive the connection loss, and you can synchronize the data later on, and you can finish the contract with the client. And now I'd like to give a word back to Aleš, and he will finish our presentation.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So there are some things we didn't show you in the demo. So those are features which are kind of advanced. We have some of them are adopted, some of them we are working on and trying to just get under control. So camera, of course, when you can send the picture directly from the mobile camera directly to the server using standard web page or portlet to the Liferay. Geolocation, so you get the current position of the device. QR codes, when you can get the data from the QR code, and what we can do also is just to get the data, fill in the form for the user, so the data from the code can be sent easily back to the server, or digital signatures. So the user can just obtain PDF file, review it, sign it using his digital certificate, and send it back to the server where it can be processed more. So we are coming to the end. Epilogue, native applications versus HTML5, small comparison. First thing, development unification. When you are developing for native applications, every tool, every platform has its own tool, own language. You have to have a team for each platform which can develop this native application. For HTML5, the development is unified, so you need only one team of persons who will develop this. But of course, you have to test all the platforms which you want to support and optimize for them. Next things are user interfaces. When you will develop native applications, you will get native items, native components for each, but you need to get them somehow unified, so the user get the unified experience. Like if I'm using Android phone and a Windows laptop, I want to work in the same way on the both devices. In HTML5, you have everything the same, everything is unified, but you need to just push more little native stuff in it, so the user is more using items and components which he's adapted to as he's using them every day. Native features, here of course native applications will always win. And HTML5 will always be 1 or 2 steps behind it. The features are not always available in HTML5. The good message here is that the list of features is expanding almost every month. So yeah, it's something like that. And last thing is costs. If you will put amount of money to develop native application, some bag of money, for HTML5 it will be 1.5 or twice as much. So this development for HTML5 is not that easy as for native applications. But if you have to develop for several platforms, I have my winner here. But it will not apply for every scenario. In some scenarios, the HTML5 won't fit for you. It will be expensive. The end. The thing is that we want to take some of these functionalities. We have already selected some candidates and put them back to Liferay, to the community, so you guys can use it, you can leverage it, and use it in your applications. So yeah, we are working on it right now, I think, and we'll see how it will go with Liferay and putting it back into the community. So this is the end. Thank you. And if you have some questions, just shoot.
How do you start the application when you're already in offline mode?
You can. My answer: you can start it by just clicking on a bootmark or just putting in the URL.
Okay.
That's basically the answer.
And the authentication?
I haven't showed it here, but if you want to synchronize something and you are offline, it will, when you turn back to online, it will ask you for the authentication data. So the classic style login portlet.
We had 2 questions, in fact. One is, could you explain a little bit more about the manifest, the cache manifest, and how do you exchange it? And the other question is, how much of your data you need to download for the application? I'm not sure if...
Yeah, I think we can answer that.
Okay.
Again, Yuri.
So, okay, I'll start with a cache manifest. It's a file, or according to standard of HTML5, it's a standard text file, and you just need to put down all the URLs to the resources. So, if you want to, for example, cache one page, you just put here the URL of the page. And if you want to also cache the pictures on the page, you need to add all the URLs of the pictures. So that's basically how it works. And when we were working with the web content and when we edit it, we were going through the whole web content, checking if there are some images, and we were also adding some kind of timestamp to the cache manifest. Because imagine that when you change, for example, only the text in the web content, it doesn't change any URL in the cache manifest, but you need to change it for the mobile device to be able to recognize it. So we just definitely put here a timestamp. And about the data traffic, I can actually show you on the iPad that in the settings of a Safari there is. Where was it? Probably here, website data. Now we have a 3.6 megabits in the application cache from our application. But these data are different from the ones about the clients. So I mean the local storage, the database. These are only the images and the pages.
A couple of questions. First one, do you use jQuery mobile for the user interface, and the widgets that you had coming up, are they your components that you've developed yourselves, or are you using the HTML tags relating to those kind of fields, which each of the native platforms supports?
Yeah. We were using HTML5 inputs for example, the date fields, for numeric fields, but there are actually no HTML5 widgets for a slider or for a nice list, which you've seen before. For this list, there is no widget, no input field or some, let's say, semantic field for it in HTML5. That's why we choose a jQuery mobile.
Right. So do you provide additional ones for the devices where certain types of input fields are not supported?
Okay, I'm not sure if I get your question right, but you are asking.
Maybe I can try. We are using standard HTML5 tags. We are using jQuery mobile. And we are using our own components mainly on the views. So, for example, the list of the users, the search stuff. That's our own component.
Right. Okay. And next question is related to, say, iPad and iPhone, where you can do an add to home screen and basically get a native application kind of feel. If you come across an application called I think it's Financial Times. The first time you visit the Financial Times homepage on your browser, it has an option where you can install, rather than going through the Apple App Store, you can install the Financial Times application almost as if it's a native application, but using HTML5 technology. Do you support that feature with this?
Well, actually, I think that installing application is, I'm not sure how it's on iOS. On Android, it's like calling an intent and installing an application. So it's quite easy. And
it's the same thing on the iOS too.
Yeah.
So if you do an add to home screen, and you go into the app and click on a link, will it open a browser window again, or will it open the web page without the borders on the top, the address bar and everything on the top?
Well, actually, this feature is not in our application, but if I would click the link, it would open on Android, it would open Google Play and install the application from there. So the user will use native application for this, for installing. But actually, the thing here is that, as you say, they have native application and they have mobile web. So they are maintaining two platforms at least, or maybe 3 for Android also. So that's the thing we want to avoid, because if you have some, for example, financial news, there is one scenario or not many scenarios the user can do, and the application doesn't change that much, or the user scenarios. But in business applications, the changes are more often there. So you don't want to change every month, release a new application for Android, for iOS, for Liferay, and keep it mobile, keep it for desktop. That's what we want to avoid.
Right, okay.
Unfortunately, I think the time for questions is up. You can reach Alex and his colleague later.
Yeah.
So if you want to change to the other room for the business track, you are free to do it now.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.